May profits be upon you. Hey, hey, hey. We're going to go over the major US dollar pairs, and we're just going to jump right into it. We're going to start with the Euro USD. All right. Now, we're looking at the weekly. All right. You can keep up with what I'm doing right down here. It gives you the pair or the asset and the time frame. Okay. In case you get lost. All right. So what we have here, I'm looking at price making this bearish move here. All right. So bearish break of structure. We pull back. All right. When is this pullback over? When we break structure to the downside on the, this is an internal break of structure. All right. It's internal because it's inside this bearish leg of structure. That's why it's internal. All right. So once we broke that here, all right, when we traded through it, we know we are bearish. All right. But the presumption is that we're heading towards that weak low because it didn't make a new high. It just had caused a pullback, but that's a failed swing. All right. And we headed down. But here is where things get interesting. This low didn't take that low. This low didn't take that low. We're making higher lows. Uh-oh. Are we getting ready to turn around? Yeah, yeah. That is the hint that price is getting ready to reverse. And you can see that if we break this high, we have another internal break of structure, an internal break of structure to the upside this time, a bullish break. All right. And we look for price to continue higher. All right. And then we're looking for these highs to be taken, and we'll see how far it goes. That's the way this works. All right. Breaks of structure tell us, give us our our bias. But let me tell you something. Without fair value gaps, I am lost. All right. So we're on the daily. All right. And you can see that what I see is the Dixie, the rather the U.S. dollars, is going to be a little weaker this week. So I am looking for Euro USD to make some gains this week. But, and I say but, you see what's happening here. Where's the fair value gap? A bullish fair value gap has already been here. All right. This is Friday's candle. All right. Today's candle did take that high. All right. We took the high. Great. And you see the rejection from there, the pullback. All right. I'm thinking there's a good chance, like this arrow has depicted, that price will retest, come and test this fair value gap in order to go higher and seek the external liquidity, because the internal liquidity is at the fair value gaps and order blocks. All right. But the externals are at old highs and lows. All right. So price moves from internal to external, internal to external, internal to external. That's the way trends work. All right. So that's what I'm looking at as far as the Euro USD. Maybe today, tomorrow, we'll see a bearish candle, and maybe we come back into contact with the fair value gap. And Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we'll play longs from here. All right. Very similar situation with the British pound. All right. You see that we have broken a major swing high, a major swing high. This is external liquidity again. And where's the internal? Right here. Okay. I'm looking for price to push down and then push up from there. That's it. You got to, price has to mitigate these fair value gaps. It has to offer fair value. All right. So it rebalances that which is imbalanced. This is an imbalance. Price comes back down to rebalance that which is imbalanced, and then we can go higher. All right. All right. So we have supporting structure for higher prices in the pound. So maybe tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll come into contact with the fair value gap, and we'll look for on the lower time frames once price comes into contact with our POI, valid buy setups. Okay, Aussie dollar, Aussie dollar, very similar. All right. Now I want you to see something on this one. All right. We have on the weekly, we have a weekly expansion. We have a breakaway gap. So the next candle after the breakaway gap is formed, I want to see if it's going to continue to close beyond the previous candle's range. All right. That's not what happened today. All right. This is today's candle. All right. It came back within. So this low of the previous candle is what is vulnerable. And I'm looking for price to come and test that low and come into this fair value gap. But this is on a weekly time frame. If we go to the daily, we can see if we continue down, yes, tomorrow and maybe by Wednesday, we'll take that low. All right, we'll take this low, mitigate this fair value gap, just like this arrow has, and then we'll go for higher prices. I did mention earlier that I don't believe this fair value gap here, this bearish fair value gap here, will hold. We've already tested it. We'll pull back, and then we'll go to the external liquidity up at this swing high, this old high. All right, that's so it's basically the same reading for euro, the pound, and the Aussie. New Zealand gets a little different though. You can see right off the back that the structure is a little different, right? And price is moving down bearishly into a bullish fair value gap. Now, if we go to the weekly, we get an interesting look, right? Price has already formed a 1, 2, 3, already formed a fractal, this fractal here, which represents a swing low. It's already formed the swing low, and here we come attacking it. There's a good chance that we may take that low. We may take that low before price starts to turn around right around here, because there's a lot of activity at this level. You can see it all the way from over here. So price may fill this bullish fair value gap and find uh, uh, support here. That support is a little more obvious on the daily. Okay, you can see it here. All right, there's two series of two bearish candles, and then overtaken by the bullish candles. This is forming an order block. We may come and test that order block right there. All right. The reason why I know this is a legit order block is because it left this fair value gap. Without it, I don't trust those kind of order blocks. I just don't. Order blocks need to leave fair value gap. You want to see price pushing away good and hard from those fair value gaps. I mean, from those order blocks when they're formed. All right, we are pushing further into this weekly fair value gap. All right, there's a daily here as well. All right, which is overlapping this weekly, but I have the weekly here because I think we're going to fill it. I think we're going to take this low and tap into that fair value gap, tap into that order block here, and then we may see price reverse. We shall see. But in the near term, this market is bearish, a little different from the rest of them. All right. Here's the CAD USD. CAD USD. All right. On you can see here is a order block that price is coming into good and hard. All right. That means that this is showing weakness in the CAD and strength in the US dollar. All right. I believe that's going to turn around right here, right where it's at, right at these levels. So watch these levels. We start to close past the midpoint of this order block. All right. That'll expose the swing low. All right. I hope you understand what I mean. So that'll make the swing low vulnerable if we start to see closes past the midpoint of that order block. I'm looking for price to find support here and then turn around. and show strength in the CAD, have the CAD outperform the US dollar, because the US dollar is pretty vulnerable as a risk on during a risk on market. The US dollar is going to be weak because money is going into the markets, right? So we'll see. We're going to watch this level very carefully. Now, the inverse of this, of course, is the US dollar CAD. All right, this is for people who want to trade the US dollar against the CAD on CFDs. All right, same situation. Here is the blue line marks the order block, and here we are coming into it. All right, very bullishly. I'm looking for price to find resistance here and start to turn down. If we go past the 50% mark here, the 50% of the bearish order block, then I'll have to reassess, and I'll be looking at that swing high as a vulnerability. All right. So you got that. Let's go to the Swiss franc. Swiss franc, I find very interesting. I want you to make sure you see the big picture. The big picture is Swiss franc. What is that? Again. All right, let's get it together. Okay. Excuse me. So you see price is taking the high. All right, taking this high, swept that liquidity, came all the way down, swept the low as well. All right. All this without a decent pullback yet to the 50% area. All right. We haven't had that pullback yet. I think that pullback has started as we make this internal break of structure to the upside, pull back. As long as we don't come back by there, then I know that the pullback is on and popping, and I'm looking forward to do that. Okay. That's the big macro picture, right? We go to the daily. You can see how the low. Oh, wow. You're just going to do this in front of company, huh? All right. You see how that low is holding over here. Formed a bullish fair value gap. And that's what I want to see. I want to see fair value gaps, bullish or bearish. I need to get the direction of price. And that is what is going to tell me what the direction is. All right. And you see how price came back into it and then pushed away. All right. In this, I don't see fair value gaps. Okay. I do not see fair value gaps. All right. I want to see them form. And what am I thinking? If I have a weaker US dollar, then this should be heading up. Okay. So we are heading up from this bullish fair value gap. I'm looking for more fair value gaps to form as it moves up. All right. But between today, Monday, Tuesday, up to Wednesday, I'm looking for price, the US dollar to pull price down here. Pull price down, maybe to take that low, and then continue up, because this looks very corrective, right? But if we start to see it a move where price comes down here, I'm looking for an impulsive move to the upside after that. You'll see. You see. All right. If we look at the US, the CFD version of the Swiss franc US dollar, we're looking at the US dollar Swiss franc right now, as you can see down here. All right. And what am I looking for? I'm looking for prices to go down. All right. Because you can see on the big picture basis, you can see, if I can just draw, you can see price moved up, and now we in the process of this pullback. All right, I want to see a pullback somewhere around here, and that's exactly where it came to. I'm looking for prices to take that low, though. We'll see if it does. We'll see if it does. But I'm not looking for a stronger US dollar. If I'm looking at the Dixie, I'm looking at a weakening US dollar. on the Dixie. So on a daily closing basis, uh, uh, this should be coming down. All right, we'll have today, tomorrow. Maybe we come up to the this bearish fair value gap up here. Maybe we take yesterday's high, a previous daily high, and then we start making our way down. Yes, there's a bullish fair value gap here, and I'm going to be watching like like I got that eye there. Well, I'm going to be watching to see what the reaction is when price hits this area, this bullish fair value gap. I want to see if we what kind of reaction that we get here. But what I'm going to be watching for is FVGs, fair value gaps. If I start to see fair value gaps developing, bearish ones, then I know structure is going to be in place for lower prices. Just thinking that I'm going to be looking for these fair value gaps to develop. If we got some good fair value gaps developing over top of this bullish fair value gap, then I know that the intent of prices to go lower, and that this sell side liquidity here is the target. Let's look at the yen. All right, yen has been very, very weak, and you can see the areas where there was an intervention by the Bank of Japan. Every so often, that's what they'll do. All right, you might say, "Oh no, but that was CPI news." No, they used the news, but uh, uh, economists have already pointed out that they also used it as a kind of like cover to also intervene and push the yen back up a little bit to support it, but it's always temporary. You can see it always resumes the bearish trend afterwards, right? So we're not at all surprised by this, which is why I pointed out last week that there is a very bearish fair value gap there after this break of market structure there, and a market structure shift there, and you can see it's turning around in this fair value gap. All right, all of this was expected. Why do I have this old true open? Okay, so like the arrow has, I'm looking for price to turn bearish here. All right, I don't think it's going to come back up uh, very much, but you can see that each one of these was higher than the last previous daily highs. So I'm looking for price to start to target this low down here. All right, if it's just the opposite for those who trade what do you call CFDs, uh, I'm looking for price to come to this bearish fair value gap, pull back, and continue to just resume the bullish trend. The US dollar will outperform the yen. All right. No matter what these interventions, they always the US dollar will just continue to outperform it. And that's it. That is it. I want to thank you for watching this video. I got some videos on your screen right now, some links on your screen so that you can hit and see what my other forecasts were for this week. All right. And I want you to trade safely. May profits be upon you.